around the clock, sports all the time. That's never going to work. That's ridiculous.
Just remember to have fun out there today. And if you lose, I'll kill you.
This is Tall Can Audio.
Seriously, this thing is going to be a cultural disaster.
What a week/weekend it has been around the world of sports. Welcome inside a brand new week of the Tall Can Audio podcast. Coming out of UFC 316, Kayla Harrison has struck gold against Juliana Pena. Her reward will be the returning GOAT, Amanda Nunes. The Stanley Cup Final is heading from Edmonton to South Florida, all knotted up. They've already played basically 3 extra periods. The NBA Finals is underway, being run by a bunch of Canadians. That won't be the only international twist on the NBA game moving forward. The PWHL has had a bunch of its rosters just stripped by expansion. Some big names moving out west to Seattle and Vancouver. And the Toronto Blue Jays have won yet another series. As you all know, I am outside the TCA studio, nowhere near beautiful Bytown, Canada. With that in mind, Rob is not here, but joining me today for a craft beer confab is our prince of pop punk pontification, a sports talker, Skywalker, Kevin Michie. What's happening, man?
Well, let me tell you something, brother. Yeah. Wow. What a fucking intro. Holy shit. I certainly could have written that myself. I don't have the vocabulary, the synonyms necessary. We need a thesaurus, and I don't even know how to spell thesaurus, let alone how to find one. Yes, greetings and salutations to all sporting enthusiasts on this fine Monday morning as this podcast comes out. Matthew, you and I speaking on a fine Sunday evening after a long, hard day of you cottaging, pontificating to yourself by the water, enjoying perhaps a beverage or two, and me attempting to make sure that my son of less than 4 months is okay. And here we are.
Yeah.
Everyone is okay.
And that's about it. Just okay.
Just okay.
That's how we're doing here, man.
Start it off strong. How is everybody? Okay.
It's okay.
We're okay. Yeah.
It's funny, man. You know, this has always been one of those odd things about this show that, yeah, we sit down on a Sunday afternoon, a Sunday evening, have a pint or two, and the good listener hears it on a Monday morning as they're starting another work week. And, you know, sometimes we get a little pushback on the sound that you've already provided, that we always provide. But that beer sounds an awful long way away to some of the Monday morning listeners. But that's the way we do it around here, man. What did you just crack into here?
Oh, yes. I'm very sorry to those who cannot partake in the libations at the early hours of the morning, if that is when you're listening to this. I just cracked open a Fresh Tracks Hazy IPA by Lake of Bays Brewing Co. And it is good.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay.
Not sure I'm going to really revisit it a whole lot, but yeah, like it's a fine beer.
Lake of Bays does a bunch of stuff really well, but yeah, not everything is worth $1 million. I certainly understand that.
They got the Session IPA that's like partnered with Algonquin Brewing,
right?
The paddle something I think it's called, and it's a solid beer.
The Entangled Dark IPA, as you know, I'm a fan of anything dark. It's a beautiful beer. All kinds of great stuff out of Lake of Bays. I am rolling with something, well, from close to home. This is the Calabogie Brewing Company, just west of beautiful Bytown, Canada. 6.5%. I don't know, might be a little stronger than it needs to be for this time of night on a Sunday as you and I sit and record, but for just winding things down, as you pointed out correctly. I've spent the day at the lake. What's one more at this point? This is their Horizon New England IPA, as I said, 6.5%. I've never had this one before. I thought I had tried just about everything out of Calabogie, so I don't know if this is new or one that has just escaped my grasp thus far, but that's what I'm going to ride with. How was the weekend, man? You mentioned, you've been, well, for a few months now, doing that parenting thing. Are you getting any sleep? Have we had the young guy out to his first Blue Jays game yet? Like, what's your world look like right now, man?
Oh, my world is, hell yeah, brother. My world is tiring. When you're a parent, you're tired a lot. That much I have realized. And it's mostly due to the fact that you just have to constantly be around your child. You can't seem to leave them alone, particularly when they're less than 4 months old, as my son is right now.
Leave him alone. Little independence here is going to be important for him.
I thought he'd be fine on his own by now. I thought Chelsea and my wife and I could just go out and enjoy ourselves. Yeah. And no, he has to come with us everywhere we go. We have to feed him and change his diaper, yada, yada. No, parenting is sweet. I mean, being a dad is cool. Like, you're exhausted, but then you look at your newborn son and he smiles at you and, like, sort of laughs, and you're like, right. They're like, this is fucking amazing. I love this.
This is a little person here.
Exactly. And he, like, everybody says he looks a lot like me, so I'm always just like, that's crazy to me that there's like a little tiny human that looks like me. Yeah, exactly. This weekend's been good. Had the in-laws over for barbecue because we can't make a Father's Day thing next weekend, so we had father-in-law up to say hello and just hang out, and my mother-in-law just loves hanging out with my son. Grandparents, your parents, when you have kids, I think they love your kids more than you love your kids. Grandparents would just go apeshit for grandchildren.
I can vouch for this, man. We had a little discussion. Well, it's been a discussion for quite a while. That amongst me and I have two sisters, that there was a favorite. It was my baby sister, my youngest sister, Samantha. And, my other sister, Kate, and I resented Samantha for a very long time. And,
as you should.
Yeah.
As you should, yeah.
Had to, yeah. And so I could tell that this story's already dragging on too long based on Kevin Mickey's reaction to it. We had a thing.
No, so here's the thing. You may catch me doing that, and I plea that you understand that it's because I get such little sleep. So and when I crack this hazy IPA that is 6.5%, and I have 2 sips, I go, oh, fuck, I'm very tired all of a sudden.
It's not even for the sake of the good listener. We are. It's not quite 9 p.m. yet, but we have worn Mickey out already. The point of the story being that it was around Christmas, and the favorite went over not too long after my other sister, Kate, had her first child. And I think that kid was 2.5, maybe 3 at that point. And it had already become pretty clear that Samantha was no longer the favorite in the eye of my mom, this child's grandmother. But Samantha hadn't yet realized it, that the grandkid had bumped her aside. And so my sister goes over, Samantha, the favorite, and she's asking Mom 1 or 2 questions. And my mom finally just turns and goes, I don't know, I'll get to it in a minute, get out of here. And so Samantha comes over and she sits down between Kate and I, my other sister, and, feeling a little shunned, a little whatever. And Kate turns to her and goes, how does it feel? You're now one of us, right? Like, the grandkid is now the favorite. This is what the world rotates around at this point, man. So.
Oh, absolutely. The grandparents came over, the in-laws came over, and it was, where's the baby? Where's the baby? Yeah. Hi, Kevin. Yeah, that was pretty much what it was. Yeah.
Baby created.
I would also like to tell you about my recent beer purchasing experience.
Do it.
So, as someone who now lives in the suburbs, my wife and I bought a house in Newmarket, Ontario, after living in Toronto for about 10 years. And because we live in the suburbs now, we do things suburban people do, such as shop at Costco. Costco has really everything that you could need. And now that we have a house with a little bit more space, we can actually store these large quantities of Costco items. Not everything, but most things.
Yeah.
This now includes beer, because Costco sells beer.
Sure do.
I remember when I was in university, 15-ish years ago.
It was a minute ago, yeah.
Yeah. I would go visit...
somewhere in the pre-baby era.
Yeah. Somewhere between 5 and 25 years ago. I would go to Ottawa to visit friends or whatnot and go out just around the Ottawa U campus. Mm-hmm. And my sister lived in Ottawa at the time, and so she had a Costco membership. And we would go to the Quebec Costco.
Oh, yeah.
And the Quebec Costco had the octagon of Coors Light.
Did. Yep.
55 Coors Lights for $55. That was the deal back in the day. And being a student, I said, you truly cannot beat this deal.
Load me up.
So I bought that. So I visit Costco recently, back to present day we go, and the most recent Costco trip that I had, I noticed that you could get 60 Molson Canadians for $80. And while that is a lot of money, I said 60 Canadians for $80 is a pretty solid deal. So I thought, I didn't buy it that day, but I really thought about it to myself, and I asked a couple guys. I told a couple guys, do you see this deal at Costco? And a couple guys go, holy shit, that's a hell of a deal.
Yeah.
I said, it is, isn't it? That is a good deal. And I thought long and hard about it, and despite not really loving Molson Canadian, I could not turn down the deal. No. So I bought 60 Molson Canadians for $80. And I've sucked back probably half of them already because I had a bunch of people over, and I said, do you want to just drink these Canadians? Because as soon as I had the first one, I went, not really loving this immediately. So whomever comes over, I will offer them as many Canadians as they want to consume. So anyways, point of the story being, I've really gone round and round the beer brigade, as it were, lately. I'm drinking a Lake of Bays beer right now.
Yep.
And Asahi on Friday, and then sprinkled in several Molson Canadians throughout that as well. Really just going all over the place. A carousel, up and down and around.
I got to be honest with you, man. Like, for me, I still got time for Molson Canadian. That was the beer that my dad drank, so it was always available if you were trying to skim a couple out of his fridge. Later on, it would become more than a couple. But at the time, you're trying to not be noticed. Once you know you're busted anyway, you're just, well, whatever. Like, we're through the looking glass. So I still have time for Molson Canadian. In fact, you know, up in Ottawa, if I'm feeling a little homesick, there's a million craft beers out there. I'll grab 6 or 12 Canadian, whatever it might be, right? I have a soft spot for Molson Canadian. I get not everybody does, but at 60 of them for $80, you bet I have a soft spot for that.
You cannot turn down that deal. It is a hell of a deal.
That's it, man.
The other option was 60 Coors Lights for $78, $2 less. But I took the extra 1%.
Because you're a premium gentleman, right? Like this.
You know what? I am. Yeah, my name is Joe, and I am Canadian, I said.
I got to spend a little time here at the lake, as you pointed out off the top. I got to catch up on Friday. It was a PA day in this school board, so I had my 2 nieces and 2 nephews drop by for a little visit here at the cottage, up to the beach, and just putting in some time. And then on Sunday, I didn't know, man. Like, I was not aware when I got here, but like Sunday is ball hockey day. Like, everyone around the Lindsay area goes to the Lindsay Arena and watches these 6-year-olds play ball hockey. And I went, it's competitive, man. Like, they were all in. You get hooked fast. Like, I'll be back next Sunday if my house isn't finished. And it won't be because my contractors suck. This is what's going on in Lindsay. And then they rolled back up here on Sunday afternoon. And I got to hand out some birthday gifts that I missed through the month of May. May in our family is that month where there's 3 birthdays, there's Mother's Day, there's a lot happening. And you'll appreciate this. Well, I think. I don't know. Maybe you
I'll
won't
be the judge of that.
Yeah, exactly. My nephew, he's 6 years old. He's been talking a lot of John Cena lately. And
wow, he must be extremely disappointed in John Cena right now.
He's not acting up. He's not behaving himself. John Cena. My nephew's behaving himself just fine. I was like, I wonder what I could do in a John Cena birthday gift. And I remembered that my aunt and uncle, somewhere in the neighborhood of 350 years ago, when I was this kid's age, got me
approximately, yes,
a wrestling buddy.
Oh, yeah. I'm familiar with those.
Stuffed Ultimate Warrior, pre-college, speeches that he would give before he became problematic. So I was like, I wonder if they still make those. And I knew they didn't make the original. I'm sure the company has gone under, but I wondered, John Cena is the star of the company for the last 20 years. If anyone has rebooted the stuffed wrestling buddy thing.
WWE doesn't make them?
I don't know. I found a website that did, and I was like, oh, they're going to charge me more for shipping than the actual thing. So I wasn't going to do it. Now I got a couple of my other wrestling nerd friends looking around online, and I was like, uh-oh, because I found another website. And it was more expensive than it needed to be. But the problem, Mickey, wasn't that I found John Cena's stuffed wrestling buddy. Is it right beside it was a Bret Hart stuffed wrestling buddy? I'm like,
Oh, baby.
Now we're ordering 2. Like, I don't even remember what shipping was. It was still too
then
much.
It's worth it all of a sudden.
Now it's 2 for, well, not 2 for 1, but 2
It's
for
pretty
this
much
shipping.
it's pretty much 2 for 1.
That's the way I twisted myself. So I got to hand that off. He was excited about his John Cena. I opened up my my Bret Hart at the same time, like it was my birthday. We both had a pretty good day, man. So that's what's been going on around here. It was a dream team. John Cena, Bret Hart, much like you joining me for the Monday morning podcast.
Well, I'm glad that you didn't be like, so when I was young, I loved the Ultimate Warrior, and you're going to love him too. Don't
Here's
look
some
him up,
of his
though.
best YouTube speeches.
Yeah, please don't look him up.
Don't do it.
Just what I only just watched WrestleMania 6, and that's it.
And that's it. Never anything else.
I did
that's
watch
what's
a little
happened
bit.
here, man.
I did watch a little bit of Money in the Bank because I was kind of around last night. There wasn't a lot of sporting on
weird,
yesterday evening to watch.
NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Finals, and an empty
Both
Saturday
off.
night.
Yeah. It's especially weird that the NBA Finals took 2 games off between games 1 and 2. I found that very odd.
It's dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like, ABC Saturday night seems like the thing that the U.S. would want to do.
Yeah.
But what the hell do I know? But anyways, so I had some time to watch a little bit of Money in the Bank, and I watched the Money in the Bank men's match. It was a pretty fun match. I really didn't know a lot going in because I'm relatively unplugged from wrestling right now.
Same at the moment, yeah.
And then I
mean, I just bought Bret Hart. That's where my wrestling sort of is.
Yeah, is Bret in the mix for the title or what?
Yeah.
And then I watched a little bit of the main event, which I was confused by. And then something about R-Truth got released, but apparently it was a work, yada, yada. Yeah. I don't know. I'm glad that I'm kind of unplugged from that right now.
I'm with you. But I came up from the lake here right around dinner time. My nephew was sort of snuggled up with his John Cena and his mom's phone so we could stream YouTube. That's kids today or whatever. And I envision that being my evening as well. I'll go to sleep snuggled up with Bret Hart and my iPad and watching something. So, look, man, we can start in a few different places here, but we might as well kick it off with the Stanley Cup Final. Speaking of multiple days off, the NHL always tells you, and I tend to want to give them the benefit of the doubt, like Edmonton to Miami, it's far, and it is several time zones. And so if you're going to say we need days off in between each travel day, I think I'm okay with that, except they're going to take an extra day off between 3 and 4 and then not have the extra travel day between 4 and 5 back to Edmonton. So they make it difficult to buy in. But we are at a point where the series is at 1-1. Both of them go to overtime. Game 2 is double overtime. It's Brad Marchand who scores. He had scored earlier in the game shorthanded. Just one of those weird things that happens. In 2011, on the same day, he had scored shorthanded for the Bruins against Vancouver in that
earmuffs, Canucks fans.
ill-fated Stanley Cup bid for Canada. Look, there's a few different places, I guess, we could talk about the series, but after 2 games, we've had 3 overtime periods. It looks reasonably evenly matched. Is there anything you're seeing that suggests maybe it's not as even as it appears, or for you, is 2 overtime games about what it looked like?
This is even as hell, and it is some good goddamn hockey. I am enjoying this Stanley Cup Final, where I was extremely checked out on the conference finals. All of a sudden, I'm back in. Yeah. Just when I think they got me right back in. The 2 games have been really fucking good, in my opinion. It's been quality hockey, and these 2 teams look like the 2 best teams in hockey. Yeah. I try and think of who might be able to match up against either of these teams right now, and I'm like, who from the East could come and take on the Edmonton Oilers? And my heart immediately goes to the Toronto Maple Leafs, but then I think, nah, I'm not sure. It's just they really haven't proven they can defeat really much of anybody, so that's a bit of an issue in that regard.
Sure.
from the West, I really don't think anybody can stack up with Florida. It doesn't seem like anybody has the ratness involved or any giant a big mean streak enough to take down the Florida Panthers. So I think that's where these two teams are so perfectly matched up, is that they both have kind of just asshole players on both teams. Sam Bennett, like, what a prick he is on the ice. I would never want to play against him. I keep saying to people that he's like the modern day Bobby Clark, where he's the kind of guy, and there's a really good example this year. Bobby Clark in 1972 was named to the Canadian Summit Series team.
Yep.
And everybody fucking hated that guy when he played for the Flyers. Everybody hated him. And then he plays for Canada, and he two-hands Valerie Harlamov in the ankles. And every Canadian's just like, hell yeah, Bobby, get him.
I didn't see that. I looked away.
Sam Bennett plays for the Four Nations team and fights Brady Tkachuk off the draw, and they go, fuck yeah, Sam. Like, hell yeah, I love that shit. And then he starts throwing the Lex Luger steel forearm into goalies, and everyone's like, what a piece of trash this guy is. Unbelievable. It's perfect heels on each side. And then Corey Perry, hell of a heel. And
Evander
still scoring.
Kane. Yeah.
Evander Kane. He's one time on national television when I was on Tim and Friends, I called Evander Kane a dick, and I really didn't mean to. And Tim McAuliffe tried to rescue him by going, I think you meant Richard. I was like, that is what I meant. I meant to say he's quite the Richard, yes. So each side has these dickheads on them, and it really works out really well. And then Connor McDavid is just proving that he is still the best player in hockey. I watched this guy, and especially on this stage, everyone's going to look at him 20 years down the line and say, I got to see this guy play. Like, I've never seen a player like this before in my life. You should have seen this guy, the way that he played. Yeah. Feels like the stories that you heard of, like, I don't know, like Bobby Orr or something like that in the 70s. People go like, oh, you should have seen the way that he skated. For me, I had never seen anybody skate the way that Pavel Bure had skated. Yes. And then Connor McDavid comes in and he blows Pavel Bure out of the water to me. Sure. It's unbelievable to watch him. That play that he had where he set up Draisaitl for whatever goal that was in Game 2, that was one of the stupidest plays I've ever seen in my life. I just couldn't believe the skill that it took to be able to do that. Dangles Barkov and Aaron Ekblad. Two absolute studs defensively. Incredible stuff. I think that it's just been a super evenly matched series.
Yeah, when I look at it, I see headlines coming out of it, and I don't need to point out networks. This was the one that wasn't yours that put out a headline, after the game that said, what is it that Edmonton needs to do to break through Florida's defense and get their offense going? I'm like, well, they just scored 4. Like, don't give up 5 would be the way that you make that offense stand up, right? Like, and I'm not trying to blame. Don't give up a
shorthanded breakaway.
Sure. Like, ideally, that is a solid strategy. I'm with you on that one, Mickey. Like, I don't want to blame Stuart Skinner. He's been fine. Like, Bobrovsky has also given up a lot thus far. I don't think either goalie has been to blame, but I think sometimes we walk away from these games instead of going, wow, that was fun, that was evenly matched, and I get we have to dissect it a little bit, but I don't think this was like Edmonton is being stifled. I think that's the story we went into thinking if Florida's going to win this series, it will be because they stifled Edmonton's offense. That's not what happened on Friday night. It was two powerhouse teams went blow for blow, and Florida came out on top this time. Look, I think one of the guys that has stood out to me throughout these playoffs, and as you mentioned, man, Toronto got a good hard look at Florida, a really, really hard look in 5 and 7. A guy that I think we all expected a little more out of, maybe, that hasn't quite shown up, would have been Gustav Forsling. In Game 2, in overtime especially, there was a couple times where Edmonton was springing someone at full speed 2-on-1, and he was finding a way back to just get a stick in before that pass would get across. Like, that's a key piece for them. Bennett has continued to score. Like, is there anything about what Florida has done that says to you Edmonton might be in trouble, or is it exactly what we just talked about? It's 1-1. It's looked every bit 1-1, and who knows what the hell is going to happen in Game 3?
No, I think that the Edmonton Oilers are super comfortable with where they are in this series. If you go in, you want to win every game, obviously, but you understand that you can't sweep every series. Not every series is going to be sweep. You have to be realistic about it. Edmonton being a year wiser from what happened last year, I think that they get it. I don't think that they're thinking, oh, fuck, man, how are we going to beat Florida? This has been insane. They're right there with them.
Yeah.
They could have been up 2-0 right now. Florida could easily be up 2-0 right now. It
could be 0-2. Yeah, that's right.
This could go either way. So what does Edmonton need to do in game 3? Just keep doing what you're doing, Playboy. It's that simple to me, man.
I can absolutely see Chris Knobloch wording it that way.
Absolutely. The most generic man in human history. Just keep doing what you're doing, Playboy. That's how he would say it.
Yeah, I believe you.
I mean, I just think that this has been an extremely evenly matched series through 2 games. Like, if you want to get into like super minutia sort of thing, it's like, I don't know, like Florida's puck pursuit along like keeping Edmonton to the outside has been decent. Yeah, I would say. Edmonton trying to, like you said, attack the defenders, and they've been doing okay at that. But it's just, for every success that you have on one side, the other team counters quite nicely. The 2 teams know each other. It's been an even series.
Yeah.
There's
like
not
a week and a half to prepare.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been so long to prepare because the conference finals were zeros.
Yes.
So actually, I'm quite happy that with conference finals having been zeros, that we're finally getting this series. It's been quite nice. I don't know, like when you look at the series, do you think like, oh man, Edmonton, they gotta clean this up or they're fucked? Or Florida, oh my god, you can't let McDavid do this, or you can't let Draisaitl get shots up, you can't take so many penalties. I look at it too. I'm like, both special teams have been just like fine each way.
Yeah,
no one has been super stifling. Teams have scored on the power play. They have not scored on the power play.
Some guys with rat-faced have scored shorthanded. That happens sometimes.
Yep. That shit happens.
Yeah,
that shit happens.
I'm with you. The only thing I guess I would wonder about a little bit is that it felt like at home, and I would do the exact same thing, that Connor McDavid was being kept away from Barkov as much as he could. And look, Anton Lundell, and that, of course I would. And that third line with Lusterinen and Brad Marchand, they've been good. And so, like, I don't think Florida minds if that's the matchup that ends up with McDavid. But Knobloch had control of that. Now you're going to go back to Florida, and I assume you are going to see Florida's 2 Selke nominees playing against McDavid and Draisaitl. We'll see as you and I sit here Sunday evening. You know, we don't know what morning skate lineups are going to be and this and that. Is that a reason to split up McDavid and Draisaitl? But all of a sudden, you'll have that high-powered top line that Edmonton has been running out there up against Florida's Selke nominees and Reinhart and Barkov, and Paul Maurice will have control of that. Can that slow down those guys a little bit? That would be, even saying room for concern or reason for concern is overstating it, but it will change the dynamics a little bit as we move through games 3 and 4 here.
Yeah, so yeah, I agree. I would also say that I'm super impressed by Edmonton with how well they've been able to manage losing Zach Hyman.
Yeah.
And how well Corey Perry has just fit on the top line.
Speaking of rat faces.
It's going to be up to, speaking of rat faces, it's 40-year-old rat faces.
Honestly.
It's going to be up to Edmonton to deploy the nuclear line when appropriate, whenever they need to.
Would you split them up for more 5-on-5 play and only, at home they played together a lot. Would you split them up more on the road here?
Yeah, I think so. I think you'd be comfortable too. Like when you have the top line, McDavid, Nuge, and Perry. Yeah, I think it's solid.
It'll be fine.
And then they've been playing Draisaitl with Kane and Kasperi Kapanen. Wow, out of nowhere.
All the cool kids.
Kapanen has looked real solid. Like, and that fourth line that they have with Podkolzin and Arvidsson and Henrique might be centering them, or Janmark, I can't remember. That's been solid too. I don't know, like their depth has been super good to me, and keeping Draisaitl and McDavid apart, I think, is fine. And then, when appropriate, go nuclear and put them together, and let's see the sparks fly. I think that'll really. I think that they'll be fine moving forward. I really think that they'll be okay. It would not surprise me if Edmonton took both these games in Florida. It would not surprise me if Florida took both. It wouldn't surprise me if they split them. That's how evenly, that's how unpredictable I think that this series is, and how evenly matched it is, and how entertaining it is too. You feel the same way, but that's how.
I don't know, man. Like I think it's been fine. I have no rooting interest in this. I've seen nothing in the first few games that would make me change my betting prediction, which was very simply, I believe Florida will win a tight series. Number of games, overtimes, I don't know. But my rooting interest would be Edmonton, but it's not even that, like, I could care less about the whole you cheer for Canadian team type shit. I think the best player in the world should hoist the cup. We saw Lemieux do it. We saw Gretzky do it. We saw Crosby do it. I want to see McDavid do it. Like, that's sort of the extent of my rooting interest in this, is I would like to see the best player in the world hoist the cup.
I agree. So I totally agree with that. I think that McDavid, I don't know if deserves is the right word, but I do believe he deserves a Stanley Cup. He's the greatest player in hockey. He's likely the most skilled player I've ever seen in my life. And just based on the aforementioned Wayne and Sid and Mario, I think Sid deserves a cup. I really do. I mean, Connor deserves a cup. I really do. Did you see the gimmick? I actually put together a little feature on this, but you see the idea that when Wayne first played in his first cup final, lost to the Islanders. Mm-hmm. Next year, beat the Islanders. When Sid played in his first cup final, lost to the Red Wings. Next year, Sid beat the Red Wings. When Connor played in his first cup final, lost to the Panthers. Second year, he's playing the Panthers.
Yeah.
It'd be very poetic to see young Connor McDavid achieve the feat in the same way that Wayne Gretzky and Sidney Crosby did, considering that Connor McDavid could one day be on Canada's Mount Rushmore. And this is another conversation. We got to get rid of Mount Rushmore in Canada. What is it? What is it? Is it like on the money? Is it, like who's on our money? Like the 5, the 10, 20, 50, 100? Then there's 5 guys. And then do you rank them too? Because like Mount Rushmore, they're not ranked, it's just like the 4
Yeah, because the
top
Queen's
guys.
on our money. I don't really care about putting the new guy on it. So like Connor can have his spot. Like I think that's fine.
Aren't they? Totally. Okay, so I mean this could be an entire conversation without a lot of thought to it. The 5 greatest hockey players of all time. Mm-hmm. Men's Canadian hockey players, men's Canadian hockey players. Yeah. And I think you could just say greatest hockey players and it would still be Canadian.
Yeah, no, it's Gordie, it's Wayne, it's Mario, it's Sid, and it's Connor. Done.
No Bobby then.
Yeah, sorry, Gordie, you're out. Bobby's in.
So, okay, this is the conversation, right? So for me, I love Gordie Howe.
Yeah.
My
Put your
dad's
skates on,
favorite.
Gordie, you're going in.
My dad, that's tight, nice. Strap up your straights, Gordie. My dad's favorite player was Gordie Howe.
Okay.
I have randomly a bunch of Gordie Howe memorabilia around my house because my dad collected it.
Sure.
I have like a signed Gordie Howe bobblehead. I have this picture of my dad talking to Gordie that Gordie signed.
No way.
I have a signed Gordie Howe Red Wings jersey. I have a bunch of random shit that my dad just kind of collected over the years.
Sure.
I love Gordie Howe. I respect Gordie Howe. I understand that Wayne Gretzky's favorite player growing up was Gordie Howe. At some point, you just have to say, I have to remove somebody because the bills keep piling up here and I got to put somebody in. And so if you look at the 4 greatest, let's say starting 20 years ago, it was Wayne, Bobby, Gordie, Mario.
Yep.
You add Sid, and there's your 5 on the 5 Canadian bills.
Yep.
And then if Connor wins a cup, if Connor wins a gold medal, 2 gold medals, 2 cups, does Connor get on there?
Has to.
You'd think that he does. And so who do you take off? That's the hard question. And for me, unfortunately, it might be Gordie Howe. It might be. Yeah, well, fuck. Of course it's King Charles. Fuck that guy. Down with the monarchy.
Yeah, you're out.
I think it's a crime to say we should overthrow the monarchy. I believe it is. Kenny versus Spenny back then.
Yes.
There was one where like who more laws or something, and he being such a absolute winner that he is, like didn't want. Somebody told him that like if you say we should overthrow the government, that's breaking the law. So if you just randomly say that, apparently that's a problem. So anyways, don't air this podcast because you'll be in real deep shit.
Sorry about that, Tall Can Audio listeners. This is our last episode.
Because we suggested overthrowing the monarchy.
Yes.
I don't know where I was going with this. Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Oh, yeah. I got totally sidetracked. Let me throw this back at you.
Sure.
And it's in a super, like, you could call it petty if you want, but I do want the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup because they're a Canadian team. And you can tell me that there are players from different nationalities strewn about both teams, let alone the entire National Hockey League. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense to me. I get that. But it drives me up the fucking wall when, in an American city, the American fans, when they're playing a Canadian team, start chanting USA. They're so stupid for that. It's so dumb.
I'm with you on this.
Do you know how many Canadians are on your team?
I'm with you on this one. It was happening in the Leafs-Panthers series, and you just know that Joseph Woll and Austin Matthews and Matthew Nyes were rattled by those USA
Anthony
chants.
Stolarz.
Yeah. Well, he had his head already turned to jello by then. But
he was rattled literally.
And you know that Sasha Barkov and Sam Reinhart were buoyed by those USA patriotic chants. You know that really helped them feel...
Oh, yeah, totally.
I'm with you on this. As we sort of move off this, can I just say... in maybe the most old man thing I've said on this podcast ever, and there's been a few old man things I've said.
I see the cloud in the sky. Yell at us.
This is it. 2 games of the Stanley Cup Final, both gone to overtime.
Yeah.
All 4 games of the PWHL Final, overtime.
Many, many overtimes.
And in the first round, for those of us who were rooting for Ottawa, 4 overtimes in one of those games. Now, thank God that started at 2 p.m. It didn't end until almost 8 p.m. I'd missed a Jays game and the beginning of the Leafs game by then. But can someone just score a fucking goal? Like, please. You're killing me. I need to go to sleep sometimes. And
You're not alone.
I know 8 p.m. is too late. It's too late to start and then go to overtime. Please.
Corey fucking Perry. When he scored that goal, my buddy immediately texted me and went, God, I can't do overtime. No. Watch the first, and then immediately said, I can't do it, and was down. He couldn't watch the second.
I'm rooting for the Oilers, and I was still upset when they scored to tie it. Like, no, like, just take care of it in Florida. Like, in the first period, goals are going in all over the place, and all of a sudden we need 2 overtimes? Mm-hmm. It's enough, man. It's enough. I want to talk to you a little bit about what you think of the Jays at this point. They have just knocked off another series win. Look, as we talk on Sunday evening, it's a little sour because, the loss to end the series. But they did win another series. They have won 9 of 11 here for the first time since, 2022. I think I saw Bowden France clearly struggling as he has been most of the year. I think 2 starts ago he had that one really nice outing against Texas. You're like, all right, and no, it's not happening. They don't have a lot of other options right now. Adam Mako is just coming back off the DL. We'll see, I guess. Lauer has pitched okay, but there's not a lot of rotation depth. Yeah. But the offense does seem to be going a little bit more than it has been, and I don't want to. Look, I've already framed this in a fairly negative way, but they're 5 games over 500. Like I said, they've won 9 out of 11, a few series in a row right now. Where are you at on these Blue Jays? Is this offense sustainable? Is it, are we seeing the real Jays, and the earlier offense wasn't that good? Is this just one of those ups and downs that happens over the course of a 6-month baseball season? What have you seen here over the last couple weeks?
Hey, don't forget that the Jays are currently tied for the first wild card spot as of Sunday night.
I would never
Too
forget
early to
that,
look at the
Mickey.
standings? Yeah. Who could say that? Beginning of June? Come on now.
Sure.
It's standings watch time. For me, can't remember if I've used this line before with you, but as
it got me
Haley
to go home
Williams
with you.
Of Paramore once said,
sure.
Yeah. As Haley Williams of Paramore once said, for a pessimist, I'm pretty optimistic. And that's how I currently feel about the Toronto Blue Jays.
I like this a lot, yeah.
I am continuously pessimistic about everything on that team. The offense, the starting pitching, the bullpen. Maybe the defense I'm okay with. But even still, at times I say, ooh. Especially without Dalton Varsho now for all of a sudden for whoever knows how the fuck long. I just look at them and I just say, I just don't think they can. But then Addison Barger hits like 10 home runs in a 12-game span or something. Go, holy fuck, Addison Barger is Babe Ruth.
Right.
They're going to be great.
And that's for sure sustainable. I buy that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Vladdy's not even like necessarily tearing the cover off the ball. He's hit a few more ding-dongs. Yep. He's been able to get on base a shitload. He's been walking a lot, which is great. They're playing quite well without Santander, say it right, without him having actually hit super well.
Yes.
And by super well, I mean really not well at all.
Yeah.
Vladdy hasn't torn the cover off the ball. Bo's not hitting dingers. The offense seems like there's still something to be desired, and they're still playing pretty good.
Bo went like 340 days or whatever it was without a home run, and then all of a sudden hit 8 in 33 days. You're like, yes, I do love this sport. This is a sport I understand.
Oh, yeah, I totally understand baseball. I get all of its ebbs and flows and why people are good and then bad and then bad and then good and then terrible and then great.
Yeah.
I totally get it all.
It's good for my mental health, yeah.
I just look at the Jays and I'm like, maybe it's that I've just been hurt too many times before.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the fact that I do not trust that the front office has put together a roster that I believe can compete sustainably. Sustainable competition, that sort of thing. I'm not sure they can. Even you're going to say, somebody will say Max Scherzer's coming back. Like, cool. You might be able to throw me on the bump, and I might be able to get more innings out of my thumb than that guy is right now. I just can't buy in yet. And if you ask me,
where's the optimistic part of this pessimist? You promised us.
I watch every day. I watch them play because I'm like, it's Toronto Blue Jays baseball. Here we go. And then Dan Shulman speaks. I'm like, that's good stuff. Yeah. And then I watch them win. I'm like, the Blue Jays. I love this team. And then I'm like, I don't think they're going to win ever again. It's over. It's that vicious cycle. I'm always hooked in. So I'm optimistic in the fact that somehow I'm always watching. Or I'm not optimistic. I'm just fucking stupid. And I just constantly watch a team that I know won't win. And I'm just setting myself up for heartbreak. Man. So there's that portion.
Your Leaf fandom is bleeding through here hard.
This is just years and years and years of liking the Toronto Blue Jays, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the San Diego Chargers.
Oh, no.
So much. And being hurt so much. Never seeing a winner. The only real winner... So... I can't remember if I told you this before. Like, I like the Toronto Raptors. I really do like the Raptors. I watch them a lot. Yeah. I'll watch a lot of games. I'll tune in. I consume the media coverage. I read stuff. I like all old NBA stuff. But I don't live and die with that team. So when they won the championship, I was pumped. I really was. Yeah. But I didn't grow up.
I know this feeling, man. I was like, good for this. This is...
He was sick. It was fucking
It was
cool.
awesome. And it was fun to watch. And I did watch. Like, I never watched full NBA games. I did during that. But it was like, of all of the teams in my sphere, this was the one I least invested in, right? Like,
yep.
I've seen kind of the Argos when I was into the CFL. Now, up here...
Boatman, defending Grey Cup champs. Hell yeah.
I moved to Ottawa, and I got in on the Red Blacks, the ground floor, so I couldn't be accused of being, jumping between fan bases. There wasn't a team in Ottawa, so I jumped on before it existed.
There was.
Well, there was a couple, but not while I lived in the nation's capital. So that felt... And they ended up winning one, and that was fun. But... I haven't seen, since I'm 10 years old, the Jays really do it. I've never seen the Leafs like, there are, as the cool kids say, there are levels to this shit, right? And
dog.
And I think the kids may have used to say it. I'm not sure if they still do. But if I'm saying it, they probably stopped saying it a while ago.
They've probably stopped. You know what? I'm with you. Because I was just agreeing with you. I was like, hell yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, oh, wait, maybe not.
Yeah. So I'm with you. Like, I was happy for the Raptors. And I watched it all. I watched more basketball during that playoff run than I'd ever watched in my life. I watched the parade. I was pumped. But I was still sort of like, this would be way cooler if it was the Jays or if it was the Leafs, heaven forbid.
Yep.
I'm not sure anyone's ever bothered to plan the parade route for them, but I'm sure someone would figure it out. Yeah.
No one's mentioned even the thought of planning a parade ever.
Right.
It's never crossed anyone's mind. It's when I watch the Toronto Blue Jays as we circle back, I just can't. As we circle back and I circle back once again, I just can't buy into a parade route. I can't look at that team and say they're better than...
Isn't that the problem? Like, to me, I'm enjoying this season for what it is because I never thought this was a championship team. Like, go in, reasonable expectations, and say, this is a team I think can compete for a playoff spot, and we'll go from there. And so to see you win 9 out of 11, and the worst teams in the world win 9 of 11 at some point, and then lose 9 and 11 at some point, unless you're the Rockies or the White Sox or whatever, right? But who are the actual worst teams in the world?
Yes.
So to see them be right now 5 games over 500, that's awesome. I'm happy with that. It keeps what I deem to be reasonable expectations alive, that they will compete for a spot. Will they get in? I don't know. When they get in, do they get smashed again in 2 games and really ruin my Thanksgiving weekend? Yeah, that's probably what happens. But to me, it's like, did I think this team was going to win the World Series? No. But with...
Okay, so as I settle down into your therapist chair, answer this question to me then.
Yeah.
Have I looked at the season wrongly then? The fact that I'm so disenchanted with the roster construction building process that I immediately wasn't a fan of this team, and I can't even enjoy the little wins because I look at the team and I say, why have they spent money on this player? Why
the ultimate goal is to win a title, and my stepped down expectations are not to do that. So we're both probably,
okay, so that's where I'm at then. Where it's like, why do I feel like wow, we're overachieving? Fuck no. This team should be
part of it for me may be
the top achievers.
Right. And part of it for me may be that I haven't readjusted my expectations since the Vlad re-signing, which was, okay, Vlad's probably going to go, Bo's probably going to go. We may be heading into a dark period, so enjoy this year for what it is. Well, now Vlad has re-signed, which gives the organization essentially your pot committed. You'd better spend. You'd better now try to contend around him. So it needs to ramp back up. So maybe I haven't yet recalibrated my expectations, but I looked at this team and said, be a bit above 500 at the deadline, see what happens. And look, when you get in, we've seen bad World Series, like we saw Diamondbacks Rangers 2 years ago that really neither of those teams scared anybody, but you just get there. And so I don't know, I think that's sort of where I'm at with it. And with those minimal expectations, they are stepping over that bar on the floor.
With you
this week.
I'm with you. They certainly are. And I hope I can get over it myself with understanding that I can enjoy this team despite the fact that I hate how they went about trying to win as a team. I always think you should try and win. Always. Yes. What's the point of sports? To fucking win.
Yep.
And when I see teams like the Rockies, like the Pirates, for example, who have a generational starting pitcher and they don't want to spend around him, not trying to do anything, maybe it's a grass is always greener scenario. Sure. Where I could be a fan of one of those fan bases. And that would be more than hell.
Yeah.
At least this ownership, this front office wants to spend to try and win.
Yeah.
I understand it. Is it flawed? Yes. But at least they're trying to win. All right, fine. You talk me back in. I'm in. Let's go. Go Jays.
Sounds like it. Yeah, you're invested here. The guy who signs your paycheck may next year sign Paul Skeen's paycheck, and that'd be great. Like maybe we can make that
dog.
Let's get that going.
Let me talk to my boy Eddie Rogers.
Uncle Eddie and see what's going on. I know you've got him on speed dial, so get that done, man. Look, the last thing we should touch on here is, we referenced the Raptors. You may have noticed they are not in the NBA Finals this year.
What?
They were part of a Saturday night along with the NHL where nobody played. That was interesting.
Odd.
a scheduling quirk, but yeah, somewhat strange for the first weekend or first full weekend of June. There's no Stanley Cup Final, no NBA Finals game. You and I, as we sit here right now, do not know the result of Game 2 as the Pacers take on Oklahoma City. Game 1, I won't lie to you, I didn't watch the whole thing. I did watch the fourth quarter, and that was
what a quarter to tune in for.
Honestly, man, that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And frankly, one of the craziest things anybody's ever seen. A team being down 17 points in the last 4 minutes and winning it at the buzzer. Halliburton getting it done. Look, if I have a rooting interest in this, it's Oklahoma City. I want to see SGA do it, but it's not like Indiana has not got its own Canadian content. This is... The NBA, I suppose, is big enough to withstand this, but this is not Celtics-Lakers, right? This is not your big market franchises having. This is Indiana, Oklahoma City, and maybe not for the last time. There is some star power in some of these smaller markets. What do you make of this matchup as you and I sit here right now, and what's your interest level in this NBA final?
So I would say, for the thousands in attendance and the apparently not millions watching at home, let's get ready to suck it. Ooh. And you can suck it if you're not interested in this NBA Finals, because I absolutely love this. For years, Matt Robinson, we complained about the big three. We complained about the super teams. Now, you have a team who came in homegrown. Two teams who came in homegrown. And we're complaining about it all of a sudden. You want to see the Lakers homegrown. You want to see the Celtics homegrown. Guess what? The Celtics were pretty much homegrown last year. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Did you really care last year? I care more this year than I did last year. Mostly because I really don't like the Boston Celtics. Yeah. But I really do like both of these teams. What is that?
There's something about Boston. The Red Sox hate the Red Sox. I think it's the Bruins.
I think it's Boston fans. I think that's what it is. The city of Boston. Which is very nice, by the way. I visited and I enjoyed myself.
And I always used to say if I cared about the NBA, I would hate the Celtics, and suddenly I hate the Celtics.
There you go. So you do care about the NBA.
Apparently I do, yeah.
I really like this series. For Indiana, I really like Tyrese Halliburton as a superstar. I think he's a super affable guy, very interesting, great interview, super honest, wears his heart on his sleeve, and he plays super great, crazy fucking plays to win games. The tying shot against the Knicks in the last round where he'd make the choke sign too early to Spike Lee. Then this past one, game 1 of the finals, where he wins the game at the buzzer. Yeah. Crazy stuff. Love Andrew Nemhard from Aurora, Ontario, the town where I grew up. Benedict Mathurin as well, great Canadian. Miles Turner went to the University of Texas, and I'm a big Texas Longhorns fan. For some reason, I've always liked Obi Toppin, who was drafted by the Knicks, and I always thought he was better than he was. I really don't know a lot about him, but it's just like Clyde Frazier, who does color for the Knicks, would always say, "Always poppin' Obi Toppin," and I always really like that line. On the OKC side, of course, like you said, man, love Shea. Yeah. Absolutely love the guy. The best season that a Canadian has ever had, undoubtedly. Yeah. And that's with respect to Steve Nash,
love
who I
Steve
think
Nash,
is
man.
I love
such an ambassador, all of it. But this is so different.
Yes,
man.
Totally. Love a lot of the players on that team. Jalen Williams coming in as one of the draft picks involved in that SGA deal that brought Paul George to Los Angeles and brought Shea to OKC. Really love Lou Dort. We're out of license plates in the gift shop. It's right there. I absolutely love that. Chet Holmgren is the most hick, big white guy I've ever seen in my life. It's incredible. There's so much for me to like on both sides.
You and
of
I
this.
Should hang out more if that's your favorite big hick white guy. I'll win you over.
He's real big.
Yeah,
real
fair
big
enough.
Boy.
Okay.
I'm just really digging these two teams. It's super pumped to see OKC go through. And then on the other side, with the Knicks playing Indiana, for some reason, even though it's New York, and even though they seem like unconscionably annoying fans, I have a soft spot for the New York Knicks because they are long-suffering.
Because they're the Leafs.
I empathize with that, as we've discussed.
Yes.
Long-suffering fan bases, we have empathy for here.
Sure.
So I got it. But when Indiana won, I was pumped too because I really like Tyrese Halliburton. I watch a bunch of interviews with him. I've seen him on like McAfee's show, and I really enjoy the conversations that he has. It's real good stuff. Just a good kid. He seems like good head on his shoulders. So, anyways, it's two teams that I legitimately like, and that I have trouble playing favorites for. So to see Indiana steal one in the first game, I thought was great. And I'll try
there was some sort of record set of like the first team that's ever won while winning for less than half a second, or.
And so the first time they led was that point in the game.
Yes, yeah.
With half
right
a second
at the
left.
very end, yeah.
And the fact that Indiana has come back like from down 15 plus 5 times in this postseason, and like 3 of the time like under 4 minutes remaining somehow. It's been absolutely incredible. It's been really cool. I've been really enjoying both of it. The main talking point down south is, what are the ratings going to be? Yeah. You ain't looking at the right portions of this series about why it's interesting, and you're not selling the game properly because there's so much good shit in it. Particularly, too, I really love the OKC overall atmosphere. It's like a college arena.
Yes.
It feels like. Really, really cool stuff. I really enjoy it. And again, just Shea. It's good shit. I don't know. I'm into it. Are you into it?
More than I normally am. Like, the good listener to this show knows I'm not a huge basketball guy. I'll follow the Canadian thread. I'll follow the Raptors thread. I'll follow, frankly, the last couple of summers, whether it was the Olympics and then the Olympic qualifier. I was all in on that. Like, it's not that I can't get into basketball. There's just something about the NBA that doesn't always grab me, and maybe it's no more complicated than I end up all in on the Stanley Cup playoffs, right? And that holds my attention. And on those off nights where they start so goddamn late at 8 p.m., I just can't make it. So the nights in between, I have to go to bed, Kevin.
Realistically, tip-off is like 8:15, too.
Right,
so
it's terrible.
It's dragging.
Right. So, but this has me a little bit. And it might just be the Canadian part of it, and it might be...
Great. It's a great angle.
Sure. And maybe it is more just the smaller markets. I've seen the Celtics. I've seen the Sixers, right? I've seen the Lakers enough times. I've seen, Golden State. This is new. This is interesting. I've been following SGA for a while right now, through the international cycle, to see him, be league MVP, Western Conference MVP. This has got me a little bit. And one of the things that sort of ties into this a little bit as we get ready to wrap up the show is this idea that we saw announced last week that they are making another adjustment to the NBA All-Star game. And this year, they got roasted extra hard. And I guess it was fair, but it was a little unfair to compare an NBA All-Star game to the Four Nations face-off. And I think some people on ESPN, and some of these American networks who don't follow hockey all that closely were maybe saying that this was like the new NHL All-Star format, which isn't quite correct, although it may become correct here in the future. We'll see. Yep. So we saw the NBA announce, we are moving to USA versus the world. And we tried that in the NHL a few years ago to make their All-Star game. It was North America versus the world. And, that was something. This comes on the heels of, like I said, SGA winning NBA MVP. It's been 7 years since an American won NBA MVP, when you Giannis a couple of times, Jokic. Embiid. So, look, it's an interesting time to try it.
Joel Embiid, who claims he actually is American now.
I know.
That fucking guy.
It's an interesting time to try it. I just don't think this is going to be what they want it to be, man.
You're right. You're right. You're right. I don't think the players are going to buy in. I don't think they're going to give a shit. It's a give a shit a meter. That's what you need.
Well, this is shaming them into it, isn't it? Right? Like, we tried to bribe you. We tried different formats. We tried raising up the money. Now,
you know why that doesn't work? As a quick aside, is because for me, when you tell me these guys can make more money, it's like, I know how much money these guys make. Why should I care that they get more millions of dollars? Who the fuck really cares that much?
Well, but in theory, if you win, maybe it would make them care more. But no, it obviously doesn't. They're making more money than God, and it didn't work. So now you're representing your country. You better care now, like as an American, as a patriot, you'd better. It's not going to work. They care at the Olympics. We saw that. There were tremendous games by Team USA with Serbia and with France at the Olympics. Like, those were awesome. It's still going to be just another. And I try not to, as a Canadian hockey head, push too much into this, but it happened. Their all-star game at the same time as Four Nations. It was a terrible game. Everyone said, look how much everybody cares about hockey right now. But that wasn't a one-game, that was a tournament. You're not going to do it. It's not going to work, man.
It's a tournament, and it was also just like such a build-up. It was the first time in whatever it was, 9 years that anything like that had happened. Anywhere close. And you knew how badly, anybody who follows the game just like a little bit knew how badly like Connor McDavid wanted a best on best. He really hasn't had a best on best. So finally you get McDavid, you get Sid, you get McKinnon, you get all the dudes who have wanted that.
Yes.
On the American side, you get Matthews finally getting in there.
Sure.
And so it's almost because it's like first time, long time, it's going to work. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, and that's exactly what happened this time. You can't expect it's going to work all the time, and that's same too when everyone started saying, "Oh, they need to do this every year instead of the All-Star game." I was like, "No, they shouldn't.
You'll kill it.
This isn't. You're going to kill it
dead. Yeah."
Don't do this every year. It's so fucking simple. Do not do this every year because then I will not care about it.
Right.
I understand that, like, well, look at all the money we made. Everything's about fucking money. Just shut up and just make me want something for once in my life. We're going to have the Olympics this coming year.
Yep.
It's going to be great.
It is.
It's going to be spectacular.
Yep.
Do not do a Four Nations the next year.
Nope.
Do not do it. If you do the World Cup,
alternating
2 years.
Yes.
Alternating 2 years.
Yep.
Even though a small part of me says like that even still may be a little bit too much, I understand that makes the most sense economically for everybody.
Yeah.
To do a World Cup, or you can't do a World Cup every 3 years. You can't do it every 4 years because that's the same Olympic cycle, or 5 years, whatever. You can't do it every 2 years. That's the same as the Olympic cycle.
Yeah.
World Cup every 4 years, Olympics every 4 years.
Alternating. And if you jammed Four Nations in between every one of those, it would go, and Matthews and Kachuk and McDavid at some point would go, my knee hurts. It becomes just another thing. And so to expect now in the NBA that you're going to shame these guys into suddenly, oh, wow, all of a sudden All-Star Weekend is the same as what we just went through in Paris in 2024. Yeah, it's not going to work, man.
Is on the line.
Right, it's not. Well, as an American, I have to. And what about Team World? Like, does Jokic suddenly have a kinship with Victor Wembanyama or whatever?
That's such a great point. Do you remember the
opponent isn't going to care? Like,
do you remember the 2016 World Cup where
Team Europe?
Team Europe. So Team Europe somehow made it to the final, and everyone's like, "Oh, what a story! They've all come together." But at the beginning of the tournament, all of them were like, I would rather play on my own team.
Yes.
Like Leon Draisaitl was like, I'd rather play for Germany. Yeah. Kopitar's like, I'd rather play for Slovenia, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's just, you can't expect like Shea to be like, hell yeah, what up, Wemby? Me and you, brother. Yeah. Us against the U.S. Let's fucking go.
Our heritages are similar somehow.
Somehow, yeah. You know, I was born in fucking...
And you were outside of here. Yeah.
Yeah, I was born in Hamilton, and you were born in somewhere in France that I don't know. Very similar, of course.
Right.
It's just so weird. And there's a perfect example for what we were talking about. And for me, it's the international Canada versus USA women's game of hockey, I should say. Too much. There's too much of it. The rivalry series.
Yes.
The World Championships. The Olympics.
Yep.
Too much. It happens every year. When Canada wins, hell yeah, I'm pumped. It's great. When they lose, I'm not like, no, God, no. I'm just like, too bad. We'll get them next year. Because that's what happens every fucking year. It happens all the time. I'm with
you on that a little. Like, I super care about the Olympic gold medal game in women's hockey.
Me too. Yep.
I very care, but slightly less, about the Women's World Hockey Championship gold medal game every year. And the rivalry tour that just rolls into Kitchener and then Montreal and then Drummondville or whatever. Yeah. And a bunch of American cities. Like, it's good hockey. I'll watch it as I'm flipping around like I do any other sport, but the result is it's like watching a Jays game, right? Like,
I forgot about it 24 hours later.
Right. Some random Thursday night against the Twins or whatever else. So you be careful not to kill the golden goose here a little bit. In the NBA, I get it. They're flailing right now. How do we make the All-Star game matter? Maybe just never will.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know, man. It's not going to be this.
Quick suggestion.
Yeah.
For the NBA All-Star game, to get me to care. Ditch the loser fucking uniforms and jerseys that you have come up with every single year and that you obviously make just to sell, to make money. Go back to just home and aways. Because I look back to like the 1999, 2000, 2001 All-Star games. I'm like, ooh, goddamn, that is some sweet action. Grant Hill in the old Pistons uni.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan in the Bulls uni, 98, whatever we want to go back to.
Remember baseball used to do that too? Like
Oh
you would
my
just
God,
wear
I
the homes
loved
versus the
it.
roads. It was so good, man.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. Yeah, just the shitty All-Star uniforms that you come up with, like send those things to hell and just bring me back to just homes and aways. And that's all I want. And that for me is my old man yelling at cloud as the cloud disappears into the sky.
Well, Kevin, Michie, you have made this road podcast feel like a home podcast, so appreciate you stepping in to do this, man. What's coming up on your side of the world over here, man? What do you got going on over at Sportsnet? What can we look for here?
What am I doing at Sportsnet? Right now I'm just producing a lot of the overnight shows.
Yeah.
So like with Tim or Martine or Danielle or Faisal.
You had a great piece on your Instagram last week on the NBA final. That was kind of, keys to watch.
So I did that for, I'm like freelancing for another company too.
Yeah.
And actually I'll have I think I will. I'll have a US Open preview, golf preview.
Okay.
Coming up
Did you see
sometime
the Happy Gilmore
this week.
2 preview?
I
that,
did see the
trailer?
preview. So here's the thing. I will 1,000% watch that movie.
Same. It's going to hurt though, right?
It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
It really will.
Yeah.
I'm really going to try and go in with zero expectations and just understand that it will not be as good as the first.
There was a time,
not
and
even
a place,
close.
and now I'm there. I'm going to watch it. I will be there the moment it drops.
So one gimmick that I thought was kind of funny was Bad Bunny being like a waiter that apparently is his caddy, and he like offers to like salt the bag for him. I was like, oh, that's kind of a funny clip. Sure.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'll watch it. I expect to be let down a little, and perhaps nobody's fault. Like perhaps well, other than whoever's idea was to fire up this fire. Can you refire up a fire?
They backed a dump truck full of money to my house. I'm not made of stone.
This is it. I'll watch it, and it'll be fun. I have no doubt. But yeah, it's not going to be like the original. But you got U.S. Open content coming up.
U.S. Open content. Oh, and Tuesday night on Sportsnet Central, and then probably on like the YouTube channels and whatnot. Myself and another producer named Denise Mazar are combining for a feature called 6 Degrees of Paul George, looking into how both the Thunder and Pacers trading Paul George led to them acquiring both Tyrese Halliburton and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, pretty much like building the teams that are in the finals
setting up
now.
this final.
Yeah.
The Paul George Championship.
That's right. Yeah, the PG-13 championship. So we'll that'll come out Tuesday night. And then Sportsnet has Game 3 on Wednesday, so it's kind of like watch this feature, and then reminder, we have the game for you Wednesday night on Sportsnet.
Beauty, man. Yeah. Last week, if you missed a good listener, we had Keegan Matheson from MLB.com on the show talk about his new book. Yeah.
Have you read it yet?
I am a couple of chapters in. I have not finished it yet, but
I'm pumped for Keegs, man. He's a great guy.
He seems like an awesome guy. It was really easy to talk to. He's a big Great Lakes Brewing Company guy. We got that out of him while he was here.
I will say that I think like the Canuck has like shot up my power rankings.
Yes.
It might be like
that
in
was
my
the
top
one
3
that he
now.
was sipping on while he chatted with us. Was that Canuck Pale Ale?
Amazing beer. Like
Very
it's like
good
top.
beer.
It's top 3 for me now. I think of like my favorite beers.
There you go. High praise from all our guests here on the Tall Can Audio Podcast. If you are one of those people who somehow has not yet tried the Canuck Pale Ale from Great Lakes, get after it. You can circle back and find that chat with Keegan Matheson about the franchise Toronto Blue Jays at tallcanaudio.com or wherever you're hearing us right now. Kevin Michie, man, thank you. Appreciate you doing this and sitting in on a Monday morning and / Sunday night and having a pint with us.
Always a pleasure to have a beer with you bright and early Monday morning.
that's where we will wrap this one up. We will allow you to step away probably in time to get 40, 50 minutes of sleep before you're woken up by
if I'm lucky.
Yeah, yep. Exactly. Hope you, good listener, had a better sleep than that on Sunday night. We'll be back later in the week. I think we're going to talk to our buddy Scott MacArthur down east. It's been a minute since we've had him on the show, so look forward to that right here on the Tall Can Audio Podcast. For Kevin Michie, my name is Matt Robinson. Thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
I've got nothing here. You're giving me baseball and hockey, and I got my keister blowing in the wind. That made to look like a fool here. That's just dumb. I don't want anything to do with this place. This place is run by a bunch of children.